I know. This is about nostalgia baiting. I don't know anything nostalgic that I could bait you with. So here's Ash. Because everyone loves Ash. There.
The smell of bacon in the morning before school. SpongeBob SquarePants in its prime. Old Simpsons. Old Family Guy. The past. Because everything was better in the past. Everything now is shit. Just like EastEnders, which hasn't been good for 15 years now. So recently there's been a lot of discussion because ahead of the 40th anniversary, Chris Clencher has talked about there being a bunch of returns, that being the executive producer of the show. Been talking about there being a bunch of returns ahead of the 40th anniversary because it's a time of celebration. It's an anniversary. What do you do at an anniversary? You think about the last fucking decade. You think about how far you've come since the beginning. So at this current point in time, Chris Clenshaw's brought back a lot of characters and has incorporated some of them into the key role in the show, like Cindy, for example. But obviously, as of late, he has Jane Beale has returned. David Wicks is going to return, and you also have Chrissy Watts also going to return. And so some people obviously,
Ricky Watts returning has upset a lot of people, but still, it's like a nuclear bomb. You just have to go way outside of it and just fucking be like, yeah, you go in after me, Dad. Dad, I'm not going in after you in the toilet. You've just shut the whole toilet up. Go on, son. Doesn't smell bad. Oh, Dad, fucking hell. Yeah, obviously that's
definitely never happened to you, of course.
Yeah, you definitely.
I'd say the roles are probably reversed.
That's why I have my own toilet.
But yeah, so what is nostalgia baiting? It's bringing back a bunch of old stuff from when the show may have been in its heyday in order to attract some more disgruntled viewers or some viewers who are like, I only like the 2000s. And it's like, yes, bring back, but I guess Jane's the only one who's really bring back Chrissy, for example. So it's I think it's what people view, because a lot of people take a very disgruntled time. And people are very fucking strange with it. So like people just they're just nostalgia baiting. It's like, what do you mean we're celebrating an anniversary? We're celebrating why the show has made it to 40 years. I feel like it's only natural to bring back some of the characters who have helped propel it to be there. And obviously some of the characters won't be able to be there. You can't bring back anybody who's dead. You can't bring back anybody who is too famous or currently doing something else. So I think that bringing back all these characters are a very good way to supplement the anniversary, where obviously none of these characters are going to have particularly long runs. They're just going to play a part in current storylines, adding that extra bit of spice, that extra bit of salt and pepper, that extra bit of spice, just to make things that little bit more interesting, and possibly lead on a couple of people who may not have watched it since their favourite characters were in the show, and seeing them return will prompt like some extra excitement. What do you reckon? Do you think they're nostalgia baiting?
I mean, you can nostalgia bait in whatever way you want. I don't disgruntle what you're doing in private time. But it's just there's a difference between giving it and then receiving it, if that makes sense. Because like obviously I've watched wrestling for the past 10 years, and a famous example is whenever a new promising talent would come up in wrestling in the WWE, basically the head booker Vince McMahon would go, "See, kid, you are good, but here's someone who's past the prime and fucking can't go, and he's gonna bury you." And it's like, oh, see, that's obviously nostalgia baiting to a point where you're bringing it back very quickly. You're gonna draw a quick rating, but you've no idea what to do afterwards. So it's just like, oh,
Yeah.
So I understand where people are coming from, but at the same time, it's not like they're bringing in David Wicks. He's gonna shoot Ian Beale, and then he's suddenly gonna be a mainstay for the next 10 years. obviously Michael French is not like that. He lives in France after all. Um,
He doesn't.
so obviously Michael French won't be there forever, or David Wicks, I should say. So there's a difference between like having them there be permanent and taking up all the storylines, or having them not be there, or have them be there and be just a small part of it. I don't mind bringing back all these characters if it makes sense. Like again, if we're bringing back fucking Heather, if she's an illusion, that's fine. But if she's actually going to be back on the square, having a chat with fucking Bernie, then no point. Does that make sense? It's like
yeah, exactly. I fully recognize what you're trying to say in that. Like the whole purpose is to sweeten the deal towards the 40th anniversary. Like, yeah, I'm sure maybe some of these characters will play a big part in the 40th anniversary. You know, maybe it's Chrissy who outs Sharon's having an affair with Teddy or Phil or something. If we harken back to Sharon Gate, but like there is a difference between just bringing someone back for a short period of time and bringing someone back and fucking being like, yeah, well, they haven't been here for 20 years, but they are going to be the main character. And it's like, what? No one likes that, though. No one wants that to be a thing.
Like, the only real example that has worked is when they brought back Kathy Beale 10 years ago. But she wasn't a focal, she was a focal point, but she wasn't taking up anyone else's space. Yes, I know the late 2010s are a very weird time in EastEnders. People would much rather forget that the show died in 2015 and then magically reappeared in 2023. Unless you're a fan who doesn't believe in that, then just believes that it just died and it's still shit. But yeah, I don't agree with people saying this is the worst time the show has ever been. You just bring back all these old has-beens. Like, no, if the story is right, they're allowed to come back. Like, it's basically imagine like your family home. You're allowed to stay in your family home, but you go off to Canada. You go off and you have a bit of time in Canada. You know, try the pancakes with maple syrup. You know, you try all that, and someone's moved into your home. So say your brother, and then you come back 5 years time, and you go, look, brother, I'm staying here for a few weeks. You're allowed to do that. People are allowed to come into the home and be like, look, we're staying here for about 5 weeks. We're fucking gone. That's allowed. But if it's a point where obviously you're just going to use it as a bait to anger people on Twitter, like how fucking, like you literally just, the joke I go to is in Family Guy to round people up. It's just, okay, how can I get these people to support me? 9/11 was bad, and it's like, yeah, like, you know, you just go. The problem I hate with society is the trans people. Yeah, I fucking hate them. Like, you know, it's not. They're not doing that. Being like, okay, we're bringing back Chrissy Watts.
I also think there's a difference between a cynical return where it's like, I mean, the biggest example for this is Bet Lynch's return in Coronation Street, where Bet Lynch was one of the most famous Coronation Street characters of all time, played by the great Julie Goodyear, a fantastic a great actress and a great personality. And they brought her back in the early 2000s. But she only really, like, they brought her back for a one-off return, which was good. And then they brought her back in like 2002. And she signed like a year contract, but after 17 days, she left and went, fuck this. Fuck this. It's not like it used to be, because she was brought back with a view of, okay, it's time for you to carry the show again. And it's like, the show's a lot different from when I used to be there. When I used to be there, we filmed chronologically. You know, we weren't filming like fucking every day of the fucking week. And it turned out to be a really rough one because fucking she wasn't. You brought her back as the savior of the show, and you didn't want. And so the new characters are like, who's this fucking bitch? God, why is she stealing our spotlight? So It's just when you bring back such a famous character and you put them in such a prominent position, obviously it's going to draw some ire. So at the end of the day, her return didn't work out, unfortunately, as shameful as it is. But it's also like they decided to bring her back, but they removed all of the joy out of her. Like they made her depressed to be there, and it's like, guys, what are you fucking doing here, man? But anyways, let's see what other people think. Are they nostalgia baiting?
Obviously, like I'll just go through. A few people online, mainly Twitter/X, are accusing EastEnders of nostalgia baiting with all the old characters. And I personally disagree, but it depends on what they do. What do you think? Nostalgia baiting is such a weird phrase. The writers have a job to make their audience feel certain emotions, including nostalgia. Job to do so. Exactly. It's like if you like the Nintendo GameCube, it's not up to Nintendo to remaster all the GameCube games. But if they want to appeal to the 2000s kids, what do? You give them SpongeBob out Bikini Water for GameCube, you know? Isn't it just for the 40th anniversary? It is. I think it's cool. I think mentioning old characters and having them return adds continuity to the program. True.
Yeah.
Honestly, the idea of some returning characters is exciting me from what's happening on screen at the moment. I don't want to feel sympathy for Billy. I don't want to see Cindy sleeping with Junior. I don't want to see whatever it is that is. Sonia Reese. Something with characters from 20, 30 or even 40 years ago feels refreshing. I
mean, I wouldn't hold your breath. Like, we are still getting more of the same. It's not changing. These characters aren't taking over.
I think there's a merit to that. These latest episodes with Jane had some good material. Cindy's gone right back to her usual boring tricks, leaving it all a little hollow. I don't
think so. I don't think Cindy's actions have ruined Jane's return. I think Jane's return in itself was fantastic and really they did a lot with very little time. And the show's significantly better for having had Jane's return. So you can clear up some of these really interesting like story points.
I'll continue. I wonder if David and Chrissy will be handled better. Old faces turning up for the sake of being familiar has potential to get tiring quite quickly. Depends on how you do it, because if you just have them show up and be like, "I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, hello," it can get tiring. But if they're here for a purpose, then it's not like you should do it well. You'll be fine. It's like in the MCU where like obviously they bring in the former like superheroes that played them previously, but they have them be like fucking pilot driver, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Or they just do what they're doing now, like with the David Spider-Man No Way Home, and it's to bring all of them together, and it's like, here you go, have fun. Modern example is like Deadpool and Wolverine. Yeah, I wonder if David and Chrissy will be handled better. Old faces turning up for the sake of being familiar has the potential to get tiring quite quickly, so we're getting old names thrown at us every episode. People would be saying, isn't it weird that Ian hasn't tried to contact Jane? Now they're saying it shouldn't have happened and it's just nostalgia. Some people just like moaning. Yes, they do. Because
yes,
because
they do.
It's the thing though. When you first bring Ian back with Cindy, you can't have him be like, I was contacting Jane, because then you're harping away from what makes Cindy Cindy. You have to have it like make sense. Because if he's messaging her to get in contact now with Bobby, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But if you have him when he comes back in August and he's just, I've been messaging Jane.
I fucking hate you, Bobby. What? Yeah, fuck you, Bobby. It's like, whoa. Exactly. Where'd that come from, Ian?
I mean, okay, here we go. I mean, it will be the 40th anniversary of the show in February. That is a huge milestone. It's only fitting to bring back iconic faces from the past to celebrate the show's 40th. Pretty hypocritical for some to claim that the show's nostalgia baiting when they want the show to break the rules of death for Ronnie and Roxy after they've run their course on the show for a while. If maybe death wasn't a good idea for their exit, but undoing that honestly would take away from the realism in the show. It makes me question the capabilities of the writers. That's what they resort to.
Yeah, but they're not resorting to that, are they?
Not yet.
Obviously, like, look, at the end of the day, Ronnie and Roxy are two of the most popular EastEnders characters ever. Of course, there's going to be a following that want them back. And I don't think it's aggressively bad to bring back a character if they've been killed off. Like, obviously you don't do it for like fucking like Fat Boy or whatever. Like, you don't care. No one cares enough. You're not bringing him back from the dead. Why? What? So about 4 people can be like, they brought back Fat Boy. But like for actual bona fide legendary iconic characters, you are allowed. It's a soap. They've only brought back like 3 from my memory. Because they brought back Den, they brought back Kathy, and now they brought back Cindy. Like, maybe the Cindy one's a bit of a questionable one, and probably Kathy as well. But like the impact that they'll likely have on the show is much greater than having them still be dead.
I mean, and from the rumours on Facebook, Lucy's coming back from the dead as well. So she's not. It's just a Facebook mom reading an article they've read somewhere else on Facebook, just going, "Oh, yeah. Bloody hell!" Because you know, them Facebook posts like to be like, "Oh, did you know JFK Jr. is coming back from the dead to help win the election?" As he's fucking dead. He's not. He's not a soap, lads. He's fucking dead. He's fucking dead, lads. If the show's in a slump and they just randomly start bringing back a load of old faces, I might agree. It's nostalgia baiting, but it's in the one of the best periods in a long time, and the 40th anniversary is coming up, which is huge. So I can understand where they're coming from. I'm all for enjoying it. Jane was done well and made sense. Hopefully, David will tie in to Bianca's mental health and fix her recent exit. Chrissy will probably also make a decent enough sense, given she's due to release, and Sharon's involvement in a similar situation now. I'll highly doubt she'll tell Chrissy. That would be insane. But I'll give...
Yeah, that is wild to think that the 6 could involve Chrissy Watts in the cover-up of a murder in the Queen Vic at Christmas.
Yeah.
Right.
But it'll definitely give some situation now. I highly doubt... Oh, no, I've read that wrong. She'll give her pause for thought. I think Chrissy will either reach out to her for closure as she's due parole, or the police will inform Sharon as courtesy of Sten's next to kin, and she'll go see her. I was gutted they killed off Ronnie and Roxy, and think it was one of the worst decisions they've made. However, we saw them die. It's not a Kathy or Cindy scenario. Yeah, but you saw them die. But you look, they're the Mitchells. They can fucking...
We saw Den Watts die.
Well, no, we saw him be shot in the canal. We didn't see scuba gear that he brought with him. But an off-screen death, bringing Cindy back on top. Kathy honestly borders on ridiculous. Bring the Mitchell sisters back would be just ludicrous. The soap, not Sunset Beach or some wild American soap. It's supposed to be grounded in realism. They might as well have Keanu walking to the thick as well.
Fucking, I know they're not comparing Ronnie and Roxy to Keanu Taylor, but also,
I mean, just to divulge that comment for a second, you can, if it makes sense, bring them back. The reason why Ronnie and Roxy makes sense is because this will sound so stupid, and I don't care how stupid it sounds. It's because Phil Mitchell is literally the fucking head of the table, right? If you go to Phil, look, I need to fake my death. I need to move this vein as quick as I can. I need to fucking fake my death. Will you get me a dead body that looks like me? Phil will be like, fucking sorted, mate. Fucking, before you even finished that sentence, I had a dead body outside for you anyways. Fucking sorted, pal. It makes a lot of sense being a Mitchell. I understand. Keanu wouldn't make sense.
I mean,
because who the fuck's going to defend Keanu? Let's be honest.
So, Talking Walford never made their... I don't think they ever made a video talking about how they would have Ronnie and Roxy exit, but they did release their document, which involved like a fucking story plan and a script as to how they would get rid of Ronnie and Roxy. And you decide that it is Marsden, who was feuding with Phil for years, for absolute years, and he decided, you need to go. It's time. You fucked with the wrong people. It's over. You need to leave. You got to fake your own death, and you got to leave and fucking never come back. But I think just to fully wrap this round, you need to fucking... If you bring someone back from the dead, the juice has to be worth the squeeze, right? You're not fucking bringing back Barry, so Barry can say we're gonna do it anyways. Like, no one fucking cares. It's not worth it, is it? But if you bring them back 2 of the most iconic characters ever, who arguably did just need a break, then who the fuck cares? Like, it'll be great.
Right,
you'll be spewing now, but you'll be loving it when they get fucking another 10 years, 20 years on the show.
with Cindy, they should have made her change a little. She doesn't have to sleep with everyone. I mean, it's Cindy being
Said he slept with him and with Ian and Junior.
and Jared. No, she tried to sleep with Jared. Didn't. I love how some old characters are returning. I really enjoyed Jane. I wish she could stick around. She'd probably be involved in Bobby's exit if I had to guess. Where she'd have a big bitch off.
I won't be surprised if she's off screen. I don't see. I genuinely see that as Jane's exit.
I wouldn't mind if Jane comes back with Masood to take Bobby away.
I'd like it to happen. I feel like she'll now just be talked about off screen. How long's this video been?
20 minutes. I'll just read the last few here. This seems like an odd compliment to me. One of the most unique things about this subgenre is long form storytelling. We as an audience literally follow some character. I feel like I'm reading fucking me talking about wrestling here. Literally follow some characters for all that's most of their life. It seems more natural to me that characters would return on occasion than the norm. Explaining why explaining why so and so couldn't make it to their brother's funeral or whatever. None of the recently announced returns are out of place. Bianca has a family on the square, as does David and Jane. Chrissy is probably the most out of place. But the numbers of times I've seen the six compared to Jane's death, if she was ever going to return for a short stint, now seems like the most relevant. I'd rather we get to check in with the old characters for a week or two, or never, and then never see them again. I hate bringing
pretty much.
I hate bringing returns back. I think bringing returns back is a good idea. Of course, if they have a purpose and something to do. I hate to criticise, but most of them haven't. I hardly did anything with Ian, Peter, and Cindy last year, in the first half of the year. Lauren's been back, and they've hardly utilised her. Since her return, she's been used to proper voice for the whole Whitney saga. Okay, let's see what anyone else can.
I mean,
just last two. Lol.
Yeah.
Aren't they always bring back old characters? It's nothing new. Maybe a little more extreme, but not new. Subs are kind of like a revolving door. Everyone's going in and out. 1,000%, 1,000,000,000%. That's what they're doing.
10,000.
10,000%. That's what they're doing. If they do a good job of it, then it'll make sense and won't be seen as gratuitous. I think they'll pull it off. Don't mind me buttering that word, lads. Dyslexia kicking in. But yeah.
At the end of the day, I was surprised. I honestly, I've seen a lot more people being like, bloody, bring back another fucking fossil. But honestly, it's quite a reasoned thread. Quite honest with it. Yeah. Like, at the end of the day, it's been pretty good. I look forward to the returns. The one thing that will suck is obviously if they just decide, David has dumped Carol and has pissed all over her corpse and they're never getting back together. Obviously, you don't want to bring someone back, fuck up their current history, and then just have them not move again. You don't, obviously people had complaints about Bianca's return, where Bianca fucks off Terry. So her relationship and all that development for the last 10 years is done now. Because she needs to be on the show. But at the end of the day, I think all these characters will be handled with care. And I look forward to seeing what they do with them. I don't think EastEnders is nostalgia baiting. I simply think they are allowed to buy into the hype that is for the 40th anniversary. Which is only, fucking 7 months away? So yeah. Look forward to that. Look forward to all these returns. I don't think they're nostalgia baiting, but do you? Tell us in the comment section down below. We've been watching Walford. Thank you for watching the video. Make sure to join us in the next one. See you then. Bye-bye.